into the next match. We have subject to change facing off against Hippity Hoppity. Fortunately, I just had stuff pop up. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna be kicking things off on a map we have yet to actually cast this evening. So fortunately, I need to actually fix that production value. Haven't had this issue before, so we're gonna live with it for now. I'll fix this up afterwards. So I need to fix that. The sizing there. Team name's too long. But despite the names being too long, hopefully these matches will be too much fun for you, and you'll have to poop your pants in excitement. And hopefully you got Depends with you for the match. So the draft is going pretty fast and furious already, and pop it up. Now we got a Chromie Genji ban. I think the Chromie ban is really bad here. Like basically the word is that Chromie's essentially dead. You can get out the coffin for her because she's a really weak hero nowadays. And so I don't really feel the ban is warranted. The Rainer Asmodin ban is pretty solid. Asmodin is actually doing really well after his rework plus buff post rework. And so we're going to see Johanna Artanis picked up very, very quickly here. I'm not sure why we get Artanis super fast. To be fair, he is he is definitely better than he was before. The tweaks they made to him is appearing to be working. If you go and check out something like Hot Slogs, he should be, I think, have an increased win rate. We'll actually go see if that is true. So if we look at Artanis, actually no, Artanis is down in the last 7 days. So maybe it actually was worse overall, and it's very likely it is. Then stats don't lie, baby. So we have a Rhaegar and Cassia. It's interesting that they picked the Artanis. Maybe they know something about Hippity Hoppity that we don't, in that they love to play Cassia. And if they love to play Cassia, the Artanis Johanna pickup is very, very sensible. You now have a team that cannot go and really abuse Cassia's blind synergy. Now the Artanis, though, is still an early pickup because you wouldn't Dahaka and Artanis in a reasonable comp. You would run only one of the two. So the Rhaegar pickup is also very interesting. I mean, Rhaegar does get a lot of value on the Shrine, where he can really help clear and get mana back with Stormcaller very trivially. But there's better on paper healers like Decker Kane, for instance. So we're going to get Lily and Kilthos. I'm wondering why we're getting the Lily here. Is this some sort of like keep Cassia from getting like full blind synergy? Like, would Hippity Hoppity really run a Lily on top of the Rhaegar? Like, I don't see that. So as it is right now, like Lily does not seem very good overall, especially when Muradin and Dahaka are more than likely going to eat those blinds, and even potentially Rhaegar. So you're going to get very minimal value, in my opinion. And so Muradin, however, is really the only interrupt, except if Dahaka can land his tongue onto Lily. And finally, we're going to have subject to change pick up Lunara. So they're sort of stealing the namesake of Hippity Hoppity here, as I assume Hippity Hoppity is about Lunara and not just not just a random name. So I don't know how I feel about Subject to Change's draft because they drafted all these blinds against a team that really isn't going to be that worried, I guess, overall. I guess Cassia, especially with her Q build, most of her damage comes from that, not her auto attacks. So yes, you're taking out damage, but Bend, where she probably will never go in, is also a chunk of her damage, which is not blindable. So I'm not sure how I feel really about their like 3-man blind comp. We'll see if it works out for them. But I'm not really feeling it overall. Now, they have a global on the side of Hippity Hoppity. They have Jaina for wave clear, Cassie for wave clear, Rhaegar for wave clear. They're really set for wave clear and doing mercs. Artanis can do mercs. Lunara can help. Kel'Thas can help. They got good wave clear overall. So both teams are looking pretty balanced on the wave clear front. Team fight side, I'm giving the edge right now to Hippity Hoppity. We're going to close up the poll. We only got 2 people to vote in the meantime. It's a 50-50. So 50-50 and... Actually, I'm going to leave it up since draft is not quite there and done. Okay, closing. All right, so let's get on in the game as both of these teams are ready to go. We got Lionhouse on the Kel'Thas, Thunder V on the Lunara. We got Math Problem on the Artanis, John Concarne on the Lily, and Wipeout on the Johanna, and that is going to be subject to change. On the other side, we got Cedric's on the Muradin. We have Captain Charleston on the Rhaegar. We have T-Funny on the Dahaka, Dirix on the Cassia, and finally TZ Destroyer on the Jaina, and that is going to be Hippity Hoppity. All right, so we got the laning already about to happen. We do have Amateur Opponent, which isn't necessarily the best map for it, since there's not a lot of merking you generally need to do in comparison to some of the other ones. Nice blind from Wipeout to stop the rotation. So one thing you should always do as a tank is try to interrupt the rotation. Johanna is a little bit of an exception in that she can interrupt, but she also is a good chunk of your wave clear a lot of the time. And in the case of Kel'Thas and Lunar not having her nature's culling at this point, it's effectively just Kel'Thas and Johanna. Their rotations are fast and furious, going back and forth, which is going to give them time because they're a little bit ahead here. Wipeout can keep vision of him. He can soak very, very safely as Johanna, and they'll get the Merc Camp in the meantime. So top lane, pretty even overall. T-Funny has chosen the enhanced agility as well to get the extra movement speed. So it's funny that we're seeing that. I don't know if it's one of those trickle-down metas where it takes a long time for a lot of people to realize the meta's change and what people pick. Kel'Thas getting hit with the hammer, not going to really matter as it is still a full 4-man versus 4-man. Going to have a lot of bodies there to prevent him from collapsing on in. So mid-wave's been cleared on up. TZ Destroyer doing Jaina things with Cassia. And with Rhaegar here, they should be able to clear this up relatively safely. We do have the Rhaegar picking up that Colossal Totem, which will really slow him down. And we have the Perfect Storm, which will make him able to potentially burst. A Lionhouse in the way for the hammer. The stun actually landing on Lunar. A lot of damage, but the bomb is tearing through Hippity Hoppity. In the meantime, Lionhouse, John Concarne, Thunder V, they all have to tap it up before the shrine. So this is actually in the advantage of Hippity Hoppity. Hippity Hoppity now has the ability to go and tap for the next fight. Or, well, technically this upcoming shrine fight. So this is bad news for Subject to Change. They basically are going to be down an HP pool that is yet to be seen, as long as no one gets blown up. Cedric's going on in, going to toss out that Q, get some more stacks, and he did also opt for reverb here. So they're going to start things up. It's going to be the full 5v5. They do have better positioning and vision on the side of Hippity Hoppity. Jaina needs to be a little careful here, not to get caught on out. They want to push the wave up, but they don't want to be too far forward where they come on in. And so really, they can go and clear the wave. A nice stun coming out from Kael'thas. Cedric's taking a bunch of damage. The bomb is on him. He needs to wait it out, and he will just be backing on up. And so it is 20-4. It's still able to be picked up by Subject to Change. Only until 30 is when you pretty much have to give it up. So HP pools roughly even. Second wind on Muradin is going to pop. He's going to actually tap before they re-engage. It's pretty even at this point. So it's actually now in favor of Subject to Change by a few of the skeletons. There they go on in. And the fight is going to fully take effect. Nice swap from Math Problem. TZ is in a bad position. The Iron Skin coming to come on out. Math Problem taking a lot of damage though. TZ able to survive in the meantime. And there is the full collapse of all members onto Subject to Change. Dirix going on in. One more Q is not going to be good enough. Oh, Dirix, who trying to get spicy with a Q to get the kill, but not going to get it. All five are still standing. So the team kind of split there on who they were going to go for. You had Johanna going down south towards Jaina, and you had the rest being collapsed on simultaneously. So they didn't have the peel that you traditionally want from your second bruiser. Artanis is really there to engage. He's not really there to peel for his team. Like someone like a Dahaka can peel, Sonya can peel, a Yrel can peel, and this is why you see Yrel being so popular. She can add another peel and use survivability, great laning presence, and so it's actually very odd that they have Artanis here in comparison, especially such an early draft. So they are getting Merc control and keeping Merc control. They only lost two. They lost their front wall in the mid, not the end of the world. We have Lunara, who's spotted T-Funny, going to be poking him on down. She has picked up Siphoning Toxin. I definitely don't think Siphoning Toxin is the pick here, especially if you're in a full 5-man with players who can communicate. It just doesn't get enough value in general, in my opinion. And it's almost to make up for a weak healer, either one that you're playing with mechanically or a healer that cannot keep up with the enemy team's damage output. So both teams, we also have the mana, and we have the energy roll here and the burn flesh. So looking like a generally traditional Kael'thas build. We also have the Let's Go here. So got the Unstoppable Cleanse. And we now have the Splintered Spear, the Subdue, since Explodes, Follow Through, Shield Surge, Give them the Axe. We have Cleanse and the Healing Totem. Wipeout and Linehouse looking for potentially the invade. Now, they do have to be careful. They have all 4 members here, but so does Hippity Hoppity. And this is potentially about to be another shrine phase, and you don't want to start losing people before the shrine phase. So is it really worth it, especially when 10s come online? If you get the 10s now, it would be worth it, but it's a very high risk, high reward kind of situation. A big old Q coming out from Kael'thas, absolutely melting the HP pools of Hippity Hoppity. So at this point, next shrine is activating. 10s are going to come online in a second. We also have Ring of the Leech. We have Surge of Light, All Lightning. We do have the Thunderstroke, Feeding Frenzy, Let's see what else. One who collects. We do have the isolation, traditional Jaina build with the Ring of Frost opted for. We also have the Phoenix, the Jug, and a bunch of choices still not picked up across the board. Ancestral Healing as expected. Blessed Shields as expected. Still holding for Muradin, so this is very interesting. He might be seeing what was chosen by Lunara. We have the Thornwood Vine, and we're going to get the Avatar. And Purifier Beam is coming out instead of the Blind, which makes a lot more sense in reality. So, very good positioning from Subject to Change. Cedric's going on in, popping that Avatar, fully committing. Ring of Frost connecting on 3. Say goodbye to poor old Artanis, as he has been absolutely erased from the game. Now, a lot of heroics been burnt. A Thornwood Vine is still available. A very nice stun coming on out. John Concarne is able to survive. Cedric's going very deep, and he has taken a ton. Ancestral Healing going to come on out, keep him topped on off. And now it is 27 to 27, which is going to be a very hard situation for Hippity Hoppity to win after burning so much HP and so many heroics. Nice damage coming on out from Linehouse there. Kael'thas just melting their faces. And, well, this is the power of Burn Flesh. Flame Strike, melting HP pools. Linehouse putting the team on the back with all that damage. Also, I want to point out that Subdue, it seemed like it was super clutch there. Slowed him down to keep him in the Flame Strike long enough where a maximum value was had. So, no one did go down there, though. That's the upside. They do have Dahaka, who is soaking simultaneously, and they did pick up the Shaman Camp and have the better usage of it overall. So, they now still have this Punisher. They can potentially... Blessed Shield has come on out, the Condemn, trying to keep Cedric's from getting on out. He should have it. No! The Gravity Labs! And Cedric's does just make it out. Linehouse trying his damnedest with that Flame Strike to secure the kill, but it's not going to happen. So I'm actually surprised they're not going around the wall at all. They're just going to go focus on the tower in the meantime. So they get a lot of value out of this Punisher nonetheless. Math Problem sitting there, soaking the waves, going on up. In the meantime, and Subject to Change has a nice little lead here. They got themselves a talent advantage, they have themselves a structure advantage, and this will prep them for potentially a game-winning Punisher later in the game. So we don't have Avatar available for a little bit amount of time, so they're going to have to play a little more passive on the side of Hippity Hoppity, because obviously you don't want to be in a situation where you're fully committed and, well, you're going to just lose people because Muradin has a giant HP pool. Merc's being very well controlled here by Subject to Change, and really at this point they just play slow. They wait for the next shrine, they try to repeat it again. There's the Unstoppable coming on out. Math Problem is here. Dahaka can burrow in full 5-man. The swap is going to miss, and they are going to go and try and pressure this keep. A lot of damage onto Dirix. Dirix, however, should be perfectly fine. It does have tap available and will use it. I'm not really sure the tap was needed there, but it looks like they're preemptively tapping it just to try and save the keep. Johanna taking a chunk of damage, having to hit that Iron Skin back on out, and now it's once again full HP. Phoenix going to be doing some work here to take this keep down just a little bit, nothing too major. And in the meantime, we got the Siege Goats doing some work in the mid lane. However, the Siege Goats are some of the worst mercs in really all of Heroes of the Storm, and they don't really push significantly. Oh my god, say goodbye to TZ Destroyer. The beautiful Ancestral saves TZ, and this is one hell of a save. They dropped a lot to try and get that. They had Purifier Beam down. They had the Gravity Lapse. They had the Blessed Shield. And they did not secure the kill. If they had the Phoenix up, they may have actually been able to get a kill there. We also had every heroic on the side of Hippity Hoppity used, and unfortunately for them, well, it netted them nothing, and their cooldowns are significantly longer. We have Avatar 90 seconds, we have 80 seconds on Ring of Frost. Ancestral is 100 seconds. So Subject to Change is actually walking into this ahead simply by having heroics that'll be up very, very shortly. So Subject to Change should win this fight fairly easily, I'd say. And Hippity Hoppity actually kind of knows what's going on. They're also behind in XP now by a good chunk. So they have to do two things. Have Dahaka soak simultaneously, push in, and I actually think it should have stayed down here to get the two towers. That would have been, I believe, more XP than the wave mid, and he is going to be burrowing on top. There they go, looking for it. They have all heroics available. Oh my god, Dahaka taking so much damage already. Having to use the burrow has gotten basically nothing accomplished except using his essence. Cedric's deep. The Ring of Frost has connected, and they get themselves another beautiful burst of blow up. And Subject to Change is having the winds of change go against them, as all 5 members might be going down here. Wipeout looking a little bit worse for wear, but he will survive. Let's take a look at that once again. There you go. T Funny took so much damage, but he caused all of those abilities to be blown up. And if you noticed, Lily got caught by the Ring of Frost, and that really ended the fight almost immediately after that. And so, well, Subject to Change, having that little lead, has now lost all of that lead completely. We have Dahaka soaking across those lanes. He should have burrow up very, very shortly. And when he does, he can fully commit simultaneously. The best thing they can do right now on Subject to Change is potentially try to gank Dahaka before the Punisher pops up, get Merc camps. The Merc camps aren't going to do too much for him. They're looking to get, T Funny, getting caught out. There's the swap out of the Flame Strike, though. He does have the tunneling claws for Dahaka, and he's going to make it on out of there. T Funny survives, and this is really bad now for Subject to Change. So, Subject to Change fully commits, has absolutely no one here. This is going to be game, very likely, because they're walking through a keep. Punisher coming on in. This keep is already at 50% health. Phoenix is going to come on out. And so they could core here if they pick one person off. They're actually going to just back off, let the Punisher do its job on the core, and just leave. Honestly, I think they should have continued pushing and looked for a pick there. Let the Punisher eat the core damage. Look for a pick, and when you get that pick, you can fully commit and try and end the game. So, 20s are super close now for Hippity Hoppity in comparison to Subject to Change. 17 about to be hit, so we have almost a level in a 10th. Cedric's getting a nice position to keep him from actually aggressing into this Merc camp. But this is not a Merc camp you should be dying for, because it's one of the worst things in the game, as I stated. Derek's taking a lot of damage, being caught on out. Ancestral is needed. There it goes. Derek's will be fine. Has a Purifier Beam on him right now. T-Funny and Cedric's doing their damnedest to keep them from continuing to push on in. So, a lot of heroics burned once again. We do have Ring of Frost available, however. And Ring of Frost is a huge heroic to keep online. Now, like I said, this is not where you want to have your final stand for a siege camp in this on this map. The siege camp on this map is absolutely atrocious. So this siege, the bruiser camp is essentially more of a siege camp, and this is the perfect thing to do. Get the pressure in top lane. You have 3 catapults coming. You have shamans now coming, and you can defend bot lane because they're not going to just take this keep from you. They can have to huck a burrow in the back. And this is really smart, though, from Subject to Change, to force the situation. However, if they get stuck here, this could 100% be game. From double catapults, a third one on its way, and the Shaman camp. So they have to be very, very careful here. I would like Hippity Hoppity to go, full beast mode to keep them from going. You can see math problems hurting on back. Linehouse trying to get on back as well. Wipeout should be fine as they have walls here to retreat back to you, but no gate. Blessed Shield has been used to keep him from aggressing any further, but John Concarne has nowhere to go, making a poor choice in rotation. We got the Unstoppable on Cedrix. He will back on out. John Concarne will be fine. Core is all safe, and they do not delay him. They do pick up the Merc Camp, and they are very, very close to hitting 20 now. This Shrine is going to be in mid lane. This is great news, or sort of great news for Subject to Change. Oh no, sorry. Oh, sorry guys. It got stuck. And it didn't switch. That's my fault. And I just noticed it. Oh, sorry guys. Good news is that the game's not over. And this will be a critical moment. Now, I wish someone else in chat had told me that a good 5 minutes ago. Apparently no one else is watching the game. They just have the game up and tabbed out. So, they cannot fight this, but this is kind of a do or die situation. And this is also why I hate 2-minute delay. I never had an issue with 30 seconds or 60 seconds on delays before, because I've never seen teams who are doing things that would actually be comprising of cheating, but you all have to wait an additional minute or two before it gets corrected. So 20s and a Punisher, this could easily be game. They have Dahaka down there clearing things up, keeping Keep nice and healthy. He can burrow on in, which he has done. They get it on over, which is the 100% right thing to do. They need to just get through this really, really quickly. They get the wall down a little bit slowly there. They have the 20 advantage, and they're looking for just the keep, I believe. They really should be looking to fight, I feel. There they go. Wipeout's been blown out. A big tidal wave coming on over him, and clearly took him under the sea. And then the lasers helping to secure it. Well, that is now 2 members down. 2 members down. I don't think they can save him. TZ Destroyer getting the Ancestral right before the swap. A 3rd member down for the count. And a math problem. Couldn't do the math there as it was a 2v5. Obviously trying to keep him off the core, but Subject to Change not able to hold this with that talent down. And it looks like we already have the GG sort of happening with one person leaving the game. So the game sort of went the way I expected overall. I thought Hippity Hoppity's comp was better overall. You can sort of see it in certain numbers, like Rhaegar outhealed Lily. Lily got rooted, interrupted, and very little value overall. If we look at the damage numbers, though, we have Lunara and Kael'thas, who just chunked through them. Cassia kept up pretty well. Not fantastic, but well enough. TZ Destroyer, really didn't put out the damage that you would expect of a Jaina. He had 0 deaths though. I mean, look at this. Blue team, 0 kills. Red team, 11 kills. It worked out way worse than I sort of expected in a lot of those situations for him. I mean, Linehouse did so much damage and Lunara did so much damage. Honestly, I think Artanis was definitely not the pick for him. Provided no peeling potential, provided pretty much no damage, and it's not like his wave clear is exceptionally good either. So that double pickup in the beginning of the game of Johanna Artanis, definitely the root cause of this. Now, there's games you can win, and this was a game I feel like they couldn't really win because of draft. They could, but they couldn't, if that makes any sense. It's a very big uphill battle. I felt their draft, which is why I said I gave the game to Hippity Hoppity just based on the draft alone. So we will be going to game number 2. I'm going to actually have to trim, I guess, the replays here, largely because I wound up having Shoutcast my instant replay up that entire time, which really sucks, and it didn't switch back.